Yes, hello, good afternoon, and welcome to today's vlog for Wednesday, the 22nd of April. Hope everybody is well. Just going to carry on a little bit. I was talking yesterday about the CX and the problems of. I think it's been resolved from what I'm seeing today. It looks better. I'm not going to say it's busy, but it looks better. But the thing I'm going to say today, what other options do we have as courier drivers? I've got fairly limited experience of the options that we have. I joined CX once I bought my van and pretty much exclusively worked CX since. I think I'm up to my job invoice numbers, I'm up to about 1,133, I think. We've got same day network courier. I mentioned that the other day because I did actually win a job on it, but the shipper couldn't get their details to upload correctly, so we finished up doing it via the CX when that was back up and running. But I've been on that since day one. That doesn't cost a lot of money. It's £174 a day plus VAT. I think it comes out something like, it might be a bit more than that, actually, 190. It comes out about 2, 3, 4 a year. It was £1 a day including VAT. So I've always felt that's absolutely nothing. It's worth having that as an option, but I've got to be honest, I've never really used it. I do look at it. There seems to be more work northern based than there is southeast based, and the ones that are southeast based, they're either, when you look at the details, they're house removals, or when I've put prices on, it's just, yeah, never heard anything. There's also a lot of jobs on that system that are way past the collection time, and I think if you're now looking at, say it's nearly 3 o'clock in the afternoon, if I'm looking on there and there's a job that says pick up between 10 and 11, then I'm not really going to bid on it, because I think, what's the point? It's either gone and it's not been taken off, or multiple shippers are using multiple apps. I know when I do look at the job poster on same day, it's quite often the same shippers that you see on CX. I did try delivery app. I was on that for about a week. I didn't do any work on it. I can't for the life of me now. I was trying to remember how it worked, whether we bid or the fixed prices on there. Why I came off it, they kept ringing me. I'm doing a job. I remember once I was going down to Dover, and I was around the Maidstone area, and delivery app rang me and asking me if I could do a pickup in Maidstone, and I'm like, well, no, I can't, because, well, very simply because I'm on my way to Dover. Well, what time could you get back to Maidstone? And I'm like, I don't know, because I haven't delivered to Dover yet. And then when I started asking questions about the actual load, they were saying, oh, well, it's alcohol, and I don't want to do alcohol anyway. So, and it happened a few times where they rang me, and I feel pressured into doing work, and I thought, this isn't going to work for me. So I came off delivery app. I did also, when I set up an account with Shipley. I did actually look yesterday, it's still alive, believe it or not. I didn't know anything about Shipley, and I looked at it, but it's almost like a freight forwarders grouping service. Someone's got a box to go from Colchester to Birmingham, but they're in absolutely no hurry as to when it's got to be picked up and when it's got to be delivered. And I suppose it's quite a good system if you've got a garage at home, or access to a small little warehouse. It actually couldn't be a bad, it may not be a bad little system. You've got to spend some time on it, grouping stuff together, but you might be able to get 6 or 7 jobs sort of going up to the Manchester, Liverpool area from where I'm based, and it could sort of work, but far too complicated for me. Couldn't be bothered to spend the time doing that, so I've never bothered with it. I sort of logged off it and never been back on. I did mention some couriers that have their own apps. City Sprint I mentioned, I did try that. Didn't get anything on the first day, and I mentioned the second day I got a job from one of the big Well, it was Wicks. I'm not going to let any secrets out. They've obviously got the contract, and it was go to Wicks and pick up about 8 deliveries all round the Essex area, and they was a pain. That was a pain job. I can't remember again if I got well paid for it or not. Probably didn't. I was quite new to it and a bit naive and just trying to, you know, find different ways to earn money. So I logged off that, never went back. Nobody from City Sprint has ever rung me to ask me why I logged off and never went back. Having said that, I do jobs for City Sprint through the CX app, so I'm not banned or anything. We carry on with that. HBC Logistics, I've mentioned them. I'm on their app. I joined their app, which is a simple process. Uploaded all the documents, and they obviously post on CX. They do post some jobs. Because there's no 50-mile radius, you can say be in Colchester and see what jobs they've got up in the north of England. Excuse me. Not going to be much use to me, but that is there. The payment terms on their app are 30 days, whereas it's 60 on CX. So if I see a HBC job that I want to do, I just switch over to, you know, their own app. They are also now, they were bought out by the DX Parcel Group, and I had an email just to say that as from next week, any invoices will be paid by DX, not HBC. But from what I've seen, it makes absolutely no difference. It's been a very smooth amalgamation of the two businesses. Well, I did have a own app from First Point Logistics. Done a couple of jobs for them from the Stansted area, and a lovely young lady rang me up and asked me if I'd like to go on their own app, which I said, yeah, fine. She sent me the login details. That was all very straightforward, and they did send me a little goodie bag as well. I think I've got I got a flask out of it, a notepad, pen, a high vis, which is always handy to have a spare one, and a beanie hat, which is actually sitting in my van if it gets cold. I did look on their own app. There's a lot of work down in Bristol in the West Country, which is obviously where they're mainly based, or where they are based. So it's not really been of much use to me. And last time I did try to look, which was probably a month or so ago, I've sort of been logged off the system. I'm not authorised to go on there, so I don't know if that's a technical issue or they've just knocked me off because I'm not using it. Two other sites. There's I mentioned the courier journals. The guy on there who's starting up a new app in the next month or so. It's going to be called Courier Bids, B-I-D-Z on the end. Don't know much about it. I've put my name down to receive more information about it, but nothing yet on that. And I came across on TikTok, there's a guy in West Yorkshire, I don't know his name, my apologies. He set one called Trintec, T-R-I-N-T-E-K. You might be able to follow him on socials. I don't know anything about his history. I think he is an owner driver. I'm not to say, don't quote me on it. He set up a system via his computer to try and sort of almost rival the CX. He's got about 9 drivers. I think he's based in the Wakefield, West Yorkshire area, but he's not having much luck. The system went live at the weekend, and I think or the end of last week, and 4 or 5 days in, despite putting the information out to all sorts of companies, he's not having any jobs coming through the system. But yeah, I think he's going to persevere with it, and yeah, we wish him well. But if you know of anything else I've missed, I think there are 1 or 2 other smaller apps that are around whose names escape me at the moment, but let me know through the comments and I'll give them a shout. Yeah, right, on to today. Mentioned that I had this job that was cancelled last week from Braintree to Hereford. Collection for 8 o'clock in the morning, on site for 7:45. They don't open the window till 8 o'clock, and it's always very good there, given the reference number, and I'm loaded, strapped down with my paperwork and away by 8:15. It's a 4-hour, 3 3/4 hour, 4-hour drive to Hereford. Very straightforward. It's a nice drive, to be fair. A14 or M11, A14, M6, M42, M5, and that A road, whatever it is, Worcester, and then down towards Hereford. No issues on the drive down now. It's straightforward getting offloaded. You also have a delivery reference number. You're booked in. They know you're coming. Pallet is, I got there at 12:15. I'm off site by 12:25. Went to a little lay-by down the road. I needed a break, I needed my lunch. The snack van that's normally there wasn't there, but unfortunately I had my own lunch with me today. Yeah, a little stretch of the legs, having a look. I'm not expecting much from Hereford. There was one job that came up, and that was from Gloucester, which was for 2 o'clock, and that was going to London Northwest 10, Willesden. Not really ideal, especially when there's a tube strike on in London. The traffic in London is always bad. It's even worse when there's a tube strike on. The job itself was for a medium wheelbase, 98 miles, and I was just 55 minutes away, so I could have just made the 2 o'clock booking, but it was going to be tight. I put a price of £120 on it. I wasn't expecting that job, and lo and behold, I didn't get it. 1 o'clock I decided, look, I'm going to make my way back. I'm not expecting, I'll make my way up the way I came. I could go via Gloucester and back that way, and sort of down through Oxford and try that way, but I thought I'll go back the way I came. Going M42 around the outskirts of Birmingham, my CX is set on 50 miles. So there were jobs coming up. There was a few jobs into central London which I've got no interest. There's quite a few jobs that were very local within Birmingham. I'm not au fait with the intricacies of Birmingham. I left them alone. But overall, I thought it was fairly quiet for what I would expect for the amount Birmingham to produce jobs. I don't know whether there's problems still on the CX. I don't know whether it's just quiet. It's not an area that I work on a regular basis, so I've really got no idea these days whether it's good or not. Just got myself on the M6. Gonna make my way. Well, it's just gone 3 o'clock, so I think realistically I'm not going to pick something up. I might be able to get something around Bury St Edmunds. There's a few jobs that tend to come out there that go to some of the parcel companies based in Ipswich. It's not my ideal, but if I can pick up £40–50 just to add on to this, I'll take it. As I said before, this job today is it's actually 193 miles. I get £200. It really is a small wheelbase. It's just one pallet. Although they do ask for a long wheelbase, I'm not really quite sure why, but there we go. I did sort of expect this to be a little bit disappointing. I'm not overly worried. I quite like the drive. It's quite nice to do a longish drive every now and again. I find it quite relaxing, believe it or not. I don't think it does the van any harm either. To get a pretty consistent run of 200 miles at 60 odd mile an hour. I don't thrash the van, I never do. So it won't do that any harm. It meets my target. You know, my target's sort of between 175 and 200. Yes, I've used extra diesel today, so I suppose in all it's just going to be a pretty average day today. Nothing in the bag for tomorrow. I will have a look in a minute and start looking to see what's about, but I'll just keep the options open for a little while, I think, just in case I can pick something up in Kettering, something around there that perhaps is for delivery tomorrow. I don't want to burn my bridges too early on that. Anyway, I hope you've had a good day. I've been busy, and we'll talk again tomorrow. All the best now. Cheers, Paul.